Hey, Tilted Barners. Well, things are still moving along. It's after the Christmas break, but not New Year's yet. So the construction crews are off this week, and so am I. So that actually gives me the opportunity to get some work done here. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but yesterday we were pretty busy. So it's kind of hard to see, but there are fence posts going up down through the middle of the property. And so what we've got there is we're going to be putting in a farm lane that's going to go from behind the barn and the cattle pens, where we're going to be building a corral, all the way back to the wood line, and eventually that's going to give us access to create paddocks on either side of the property, so we can set up different grazing areas, pull hay off and hay it, maybe one side or versus the other, and then alternate from year to year. If we need to add some cattle, we'll be able to create some paddocks, just subdivide everything a lot more. So it gives us a lot of versatility, I guess, is where I'm going with this. So we rented a post pounder. I have to excuse the conditions the cattle are in. That's just a bad time of year. But so behind me there's a Bobcat skid loader with a post pounder on the front. Let's go take a look at it. So here we've got a Bobcat T590. This is a rental. And on the front of it is a Danuser, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Hammer post pounder. We'll get some video of this thing. It is awesome. I mean, this thing, it just drives these like nothing. I think in about 3 hours, I drove 33 posts and I was learning. So you can see behind me, some of these aren't as straight as what I would have liked. They were the first ones that I pounded in. I was learning, so it's not the best, but you know what, it is what it is, and we got them in. So, and you can see behind me, they go back straight to the woods. So we to get ready for today, you saw the previous video where we picked up a truckload of posts, and those were 5 to 6 inch, 8 foot long treated fence posts. And after that, we had the property surveyed, and so the surveyor came through and marked all the property lines, and then we had him throw a few more stakes in along the property line, so that we could use those to pull a string and get some straight lines for our fence that will go around the perimeter. And then around towards the back here, so then around towards the back, along the sides and stuff, because we've got neighbors that live behind us, there's utilities that run along both sides of the property: gas, electric, phone, everything. So we called Miss Dig in, and Miss Dig marked all the utilities. So we don't have to worry about, putting a post through a fiber optic line or anything like that. Everything was located outside our property, well outside our property, not even within that 3 foot range that we need to worry about. So we've called Miss Dig. We've staked all the property lines, and now we are driving posts. So let's get this bad boy fired up. We'll get it warmed up, and we'll get some posts driven. All right, so you saw the post going down. So what you probably had a hard time seeing is that there's a little weighted ball or weighted chain on the end of the hammer. And so what that does is that gives me a chance to see if it's plumb going one direction, but not in the other direction. And so you'll see me periodically raise up the safety roll bar or the safety bar inside the machine. And that makes it so that the safeties are all on the loader and stuff. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to get out when the loader's like that, but this is what we're having to do. No need to comment on how unsafe I'm being. So the other thing that I'm checking was I was jumping out with the level to check and make sure that the posts were plumb going the other direction that I couldn't see. So basically I'm just gauging that weight to see if, you know, because that's going to hang straight up and down, and to make sure that my post is straight up and down with that weighted ball. And then the next thing, periodically I have to jump out and make sure that it's plumb going the other direction so that all my posts are as straight as possible. So that was one glimpse on one angle on how we're doing it. Now you'll notice too, this is a pretty thick fence line. We've got to do a lot of trimming here. So this is lining up straight down the post. You can see that we got some trimming to do, but for right now, because there is very little frost, if any frost, in the ground, we wanted to get these posts in. We can work on trimming the rest of the fence line in later, but like I said, we just want to get these in before the fence or before the frost comes in. The other posts, they're a lot smaller. They're PVC, so the hope is even with a little bit of frost, maybe they'll go in. If they don't, these are such a large post with that blunt end. And that's the other thing, I don't know if you noticed or if you caught, but we're driving a blunt end right into the ground. There's no points, no nothing on these things. It's just brute force pushing these things in. And I mean, look at, well, heck, I'm shaking the camera more than what the post is shaking. These things are in the ground and they are stout, so they aren't moving. So, but yeah, so that's a quick, look at one direction, and let's try and get a cab look here. you.